And there's just like a whole bunch of programs here. Like, what we got? Brave browser again in the background. That's everything.
I've gone live Hobbit. Everybody's been treated to their very own Hobbit number station.
And then you've got like Microsoft Network real-time installer.
I'm just waiting. He's not. I don't think he's listening to me, guys. I don't think he's listening to me. He's not listening to me. He's not listening to me. He's just carrying on with
free. And then there's 10 instances of Brave browser, but there's only like 5 tabs open. How does that work? And then Task Manager itself is 24 megabytes. Hello, welcome to 14 Words, where we have a look at Hobbit's Task Manager and try and figure out why is it that it's using 8 gigabytes of RAM when I've got barely anything open? Is it just a
I'll put the where Arla, because we're going to talk a little bit about the milk. We're going to try not to talk too much about the milk, and not do T.E. Lawrence like we have been doing for about the past 4 weeks.
But most importantly, I want to know the very Fortean subject of what the fuck's happened with my RAM. Why is modern software so bloated? Seriously, like my monitor has a piece of software to control it, and that's 70 megabytes. I mean, imagine going like back in the day and saying, "Oh, your monitor needs software for it, and it's going to take 70 megabytes of RAM." And most people be like, not even having 64 megabytes of RAM. And they're like, "Why does your monitor have software?"
Or if they said that when you had a Commodore 64, and you're like, "Fuck me, I've only got 64 bits." Bytes, 64 bytes, isn't
it? Why was the Commodore 64 called that? Was it 64 kilobytes of RAM?
No, it weren't even kilobytes. It was bytes. I'm pretty sure it was bytes.
It's an 8-bit home computer. Came out in 1982. So what's the specs of it? It's got a MOS Technology 6510. Later ones had an 8550. The NTSC version, never twice same color, was at 1 megahertz, and the PAL version was 985 kilohertz. Memory, 64 kilobytes of RAM plus 20 kilobytes of ROM. Yeah, that makes sense because the Speccy at the time had, I think it was 48 kilobytes.
Hey, Hobbit, you ready for a really smooth segue?
Yes.
Fucking Bill Gates. Bill Gates would be like, "Fuck me, we really need to jam that fucker full."
Oh well, Bill Gates famously said, and he did say, "I don't actually fuck yourself. 640 kilobytes is enough for anybody."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, compared to other like things in the 1980s, then yeah, I suppose so. Because back then people were like, "Oh, I've only got 64 kilobytes of RAM. I better make my program efficient and work."
But doesn't
well.
he still? Doesn't he still maintain that today? Only like 640 kilobytes is plenty for you, Hobbit, to be using on your computer out of the terabytes of fucking storage space and RAM you have.
Yeah, so out of the 32 gigabytes I've got, 64K is enough for me.
Yeah.
And then the other 31.999 gigabytes is for Windows to do whatever the fuck it wants with it, I guess. In use, 8 gigabytes, 357 megabytes, which are compressed. Oh, thank you for compressing some of that. I really appreciate that.
There's an app to control the disco lights on Interdimensional's CPU fan. Are there 2 interdimensional lizards? Because one's got a wrench and the other one hasn't.
Yeah, interdimensional lizard.
Oh, and it's a slightly different picture as well.
Yeah. Is there an interdimensional lizard imposter? Because there is a Fremen on the
It could be an
imposter.
interdimensional lizard from a different interdimension. That's his other couch, should he use this one?
Alright, let's do the segue. So, Bill Gates, 640k is enough for anyone. Speaking of Bill Gates, did you know he owns a company called Ruminate, Hemi? I was going to call you Hobbit.
Well, I didn't know he owned a company called Ruminate because I was aware of a company called Bloviate or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, so Arla Dairies did something today, and I liken it to
they did it the other day. They did the 2nd of December. They did this.
So I liken this to, you've just accused a pikey gang of nicking the fucking bags. Yeah. And the pikey's gone, no, we never. All we do is we steal copper from building sites. No, you want that other gang. They're the ones that are pinching the fucking bags.
Yeah.
And so, they're pinching these fucking bikes. And Arla's dairy is saying, oh, we don't use Bovair supplements in our dairy. No, for the past 6 months, we've been using this stuff from Ruminate. Oh, what does that do?
Actually, I was wrong. I think I read it wrong because I've reread the article. And what they actually said was no, we use Bloviate. We Ruminate is the other lot, I think is what they said. Look at Ruminate. They're the bad uns, I think is what they said.
Yeah. So,
Bova, a feed additive for cows and other ruminants, has some potential side effects, including if you inhale it, Hobbit, the active ingredient in Bova can be harmful if inhaled. 3-nop. Yeah, what's 3-nop, Hobbit? That's the it's 3-nitrooxypropanol.
Yeah. Propanol means it's a type of alcohol. And now you can't see me doing air quotes, but I'm doing air quotes like Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
The side effect of this is testicular atrophy and cancer. So I asked a friend. I said, "Hey, I heard this thing where they're putting estrogen in chicken breasts to make the yields bigger." And of course, the side effect of that is you get moobs from eating chicken. Yeah. Any truth to the story? And he says, look, without doing any research into it, I'm going to say it's 100% true because, let me quote him directly, because I keep getting this wrong otherwise. The fact of the matter is they are systematically coming for everything that's good or normal or natural and making it gay.
Hold on, I think we have to read this because maybe I did read it right in the first place because it says...
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorists have wrongly linked the two firms without evidence.
Oh no! It's like, look, here's one company that sells guns, what are used in crimes.
So I think they're like, so which one's Bill Gates? He's Ruminate, So they're like
Ruminate.
Yeah. So yeah. Bill Gates is Ruminate, and they go, oh no, Bova's BlackRock.
Look,
it's completely wrong.
This would be like saying in the 1970s, bank robbers used Peugeot vans to do ram raids and bank robberies, and then the fact checkers would be saying like,
they used escort vans.
I was going to say it was the Ford Transit van.
Yeah.
Was there an escort van?
Yeah, there was an escort van.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know.
Back to your car-derived van.
Yeah.
Discussion. The other day.
Oh well, yeah, because there was that thing. There was. This is.
I think there was a Peugeot 205 van, or it might have been the 306, but there was definitely a Peugeot one that was very similar to the Ford car.
So this was a thing. I don't recall seeing it in Europe. If you are from,
have you noticed everybody also calls it the Ford car, the KA? they don't just go, the Ford car.
Oh, I have a MAN lorry. What, you mean a man?
Yeah.
Yes, I exchanged it at the thing for my old DAF lorry. What, the DAF? Yeah. And I go to and from my work site, my Ford KA. Don't you mean your FORD car?
Yeah.
I really get annoyed with people, aren't you? This is an example, right? I was watching a Chinese thing talking in English about their factory. If you want peanuts, you can go to, I can't even remember the name of the factory, but there was a factory advertised themselves on TikTok. And she was saying, we produce this many peanuts in year 2024. I was like, you're saying that because you don't want to say 2024, do you? That's a bit difficult to pronounce.
Yeah, 2024.
So
anyway, are we gonna? What do you want to do? Do you want to read should we read the Arla statement out? Because they do like to throw other people. So the makers of Lurpak respond to claims that methane-reducing cow feed additive Bova.
Makers of Lurpak, Cravendale filtered milk, the milk that's in most supermarket own brand stuff.
It's
also,
was it Tesco's? Tesco's,
Tesco,
Aldi. I noticed it wasn't Lidl, but Lidl probably use the other one, don't they?
I don't think Lidl quality is any better, but they are.
They're saying Tesco's, Morrison's, and Lidl.
Marks and Spencer and Waitrose, so that means Ocado as well.
Hold on. There's some qualifying words in this. Sold in Tesco's, Morrison's, and Lidl. So I don't know if they do the regular milk. I think they just do the Arla shitty milk.
Well, the thing is, you'll have to actually read the label, or here's an alternative, right? So but
the label, it won't be on the label, will it? Because they don't have to tell you what the cows are fed on the label, do they? All it is the ingredients of the milk, isn't it?
So I typed in UK milk map and I got in 2 results: UK raw milk map, Western A Price Foundation, and there's Farmers Weekly map of where to buy milk direct from farm. So I'm going to look at the one which says I'm not too concerned whether the milk's raw or not. You can get that, but I don't want Coventry. I'm zooming into it's showing the dairy I get my milk from, and it's showing like not to dox people. I'll put it in the chat. So there you go. It's this farm. Yeah, it's Farmers Weekly. It's the magazine for farmers by farmers about farming, and is Farmers Weekly milk map, and it shows you there's a few places in Wales that do it. There's plenty of places in Cornwall and Devon that do it. There's one right in Weymouth, actually, right in the south, a place called Osmington. So there's Craig's Farm Dairy there. Is there any stuff in and around London? Well, there's one in Watford, or actually to the west of Watford in Hill End. So there's a dairy you can buy your milk from there. There's one in Hertford, near Harlow. There's one south of Luton. But yeah, if you look at this map, funny enough, there's hardly anything in East Anglia. There's one near Bury St Edmunds. Maybe it's just the people haven't updated that you can buy milk direct from the farmers here. There's hardly anything in Northern Ireland. There's nothing in North Wales. There's a few in Northern Ireland. And nothing in North Pennines. But then again, not many people live in North Pennines. So yeah, there's plenty of places you can buy your milk from directly in the UK, and those farmers, as the local in North Wales, ask them. There's a few. What supplements do you use? And will you use Bovair or Ruminate or anything else that will cause my testicles to shrink and give me cancer?
But so they did a right load of old weasel words. Let's see if we can find some of the highlights.
Oh yes, I love weasel words.
An Arla spokesman said, "The health and safety of both consumers and animals is always our number one priority." Regulatory bodies such as the European Food Safety Authority and the UK Food Standards Agency have approved its use based on evidence that it does not harm the animals or negatively impact their health, productivity, or the quality of milk.
So was it banned in the EU?
However, social media is awash with claims the additive can cause fertility issues and cancer.
Oh, well, have you heard the thing, what's it called? BBC Verify. They're such hard workers, BBC Verify. They've come out recently and said, Bovair, A-OK, definitely drink it. In fact, it's as safe as mother's milk, but mother's milk's not safe, so don't drink that.
Yeah, if your mother was Medusa.
Bill Gates. Speaking of someone with fat tits, have you noticed how big Bill Gates' tits are?
He's got a fair pair in him, hasn't he?
We live in a topsy-turvy world where Angelina Jolie doesn't have any tits and Bill Gates has got fucking massive knockers. Now that is a Fortean subject. What's happened? Why do women have small tits and why do men have fat tits now? What's up with that?
It's the amount of gay men that tell people what they should look like.
Yeah. Well, like Bill Gates is really, really concerned about this sort of stuff, and he just wants the best for everybody, and that's why you got to have, this, I guess.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I saw
Great.
BBC Verified did a thing on it, didn't they?
Yeah. Shall we read BBC Verified? I love.
Have you got that one? Have you? So let's do the rest of this where Arla are just throwing everybody under the bus. Blah blah blah. Food standards. Blah blah blah.
I love it when the Pikey say,
well, they're not going to allow something to be used if it's not past safety standards. He said Rob Hobson.
Oh, hang on. That's funny. So I've done the thing. BBC Verify. The headline is called "Why are people pouring milk down the drain over a cow feed additive?" I click on the link. It says this story is unavailable. Sorry.
Why are people burning hundreds of thousands of cows because of a cow feed additive, Hobbit? I'm just gonna try and rack your brain there. If you can, well, you can remember because I think you had a lot of it round you, didn't you?
Foot and mouth disease.
No, CJD, weren't it? They were burning loads, weren't they?
Oh yeah. My dad said saying there. He says, "Oh, the Germans ought to release their magical oven technology because it's costing so much to burn all these cows." And I just looked at him and thought, I can't say anything.
One from the Federal Drug Administration. So the FDA reads the product is not for human use. It adds caution should be. So this is the FDA who literally give Americans poison. So the FDA say this. They say caution should be exercised when handling this product. 3-nitrooxypropanol may damage male fertility and reproductive organs, is potentially harmful when inhaled, and is a skin and eye irritant.
So it's asbestos.
No, asbestos wasn't really an Indian. Asbestos just sits there quietly on your lungs for about 30 years, and he goes, fuck you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I'm sure if you had asbestos in your balls, they'd cause that to atrophy too.
Might do. Oh, other considerations. So this is what Rupert Lowe's been doing some great work lately. Have you been following Rupert Lowe at all, the MP? He's just been getting... He's the one who's been getting all the statistics about immigrants and stuff like that.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I do remember that. And did he do like the thing showing where social housing's going to these days, broken down by demographic?
That's it. So this perfectly safe and normal for use. Other considerations for bova include genotoxicity. Genotoxicity has not yet been fully clarified. Safety of other animal species. The feed app panel could not conclude on the safety. What's that?
Genotoxicity is anything which affects your genetics. So it'll literally poison your ability to reproduce.
Well, the Magic 8 Ball, the Magic 8 Ball says not sure on that one. The feed app panel could not conclude on the safety of any additive for any other animal species. Handling. Personal protective gear, including eyewear, dust mask, and impervious gloves, should be worn when handling bova. Operators should wash hands after handling bova.
So this thing is safe enough to feed to cows.
Safe and effective, Hobbit.
You've got to wear a fucking gas mask in order to handle it, and don't get it on your hands. But it's okay for cows to just.
What's going to come out of the cow farts if they've been eating this?
Is this one of those things like when the DPF makes the so DPF, for those not aware, I'm talking about diesel particulate filters.
Yeah,
and they use urea to.
Well, it's more like diesel part-time filter, isn't it? Because if something's going to fuck your diesel engine up, it's going to be the DPM, isn't it?
Yeah. So
DPF, I mean.
The idea is that you put in pig urea, or AdBlue as it's called commercially, and which is all harvested from farms in China. So I'm sure there's no conflict of interest there. And
well, if it's going to cause a few less two-headed kids, I mean, it's not all bad, is it?
So that's the thing. Actually, the magic of urea with the nitrogen emissions in the diesel results in less nitrogen emissions, but then you've got more soot coming out, and the soot, when it gets into people's lungs, causes mesothelioma. It causes lung irritation with lung disease.
It can't cause mesothelioma because that's scarring of the lungs.
So it causes lung irritation, and it's not good. It's like, unfiltered diesel, not good. This thing also not good. So it's like, but here's the thing, right?
Oh, Hobbit. Do you want to know what's in Bova?
Just a second.
Yeah.
So the thing is that unlike with the diesel exhaust, which I'm not saying is healthy in any way, shape, or form, I'm just saying that the mitigation's worse than the way as it was before. With Bovair, they're saying that the methane that cows produce is somehow this deadly toxin and it's pollution and it's got to be got rid of, whereas it's just part of the natural cycle. And it gets broken down into carbon.
Why did cows farting never kill us before?
Well, here's the thing. Like, so cow methane is then broken down to carbon dioxide and water.
Oh, no. Not carbon.
Hang on just a second. Let me think about this. So methane is CH4. Carbon dioxide is CO2. Yeah, so the H breaks off the methane, forms water. The C forms of the oxygen or ozone, more likely, to form carbon dioxide. And then guess what? That carbon dioxide is consumed by plants to form more plants. And what do cows like to eat? Plants. There we go. So where does the methane go if the cows can't release it normally? I don't know how Bovair works, but I think maybe the nitropropanol or propanol.
Well, actually, do you know what actually Bova's made of? It's made of silicon dioxide, propylene glycol, an organic compound, and organic compound. Oh, so so they're saying 3 nitrooxypropanol is an organic compound.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but that's like saying methanol's an organic compound or cyanide's an organic compound.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also going to say like dead ground up babies, what are used to make vaccines are. By the way, so here's the thing. I'm going to talk about how the Panda Pops are made. Are Panda Pops still in business? Because I don't want to get sued by them.
Oh yeah, because we got a quaddemic on the way.
Right. So Panda Pops, in order to make the secret formula, what they do is called a live tissue. Now I'm trying to think of a euphemism for this term here, for the V word. A live tissue flavoration. There we go. Flavoration. Right. So in order to when you're making a flavoration, you need like a virus or bacteria sample which is harmful to people, and then you breed it on your live tissue. The bacteria don't need a live tissue because they're a life form. Viruses are not a life form, so the viruses need live tissue so that you can have your Panda Pops blue raspberry flavor or whatever you're trying to make. You take the viruses and you put them on live tissue. Now, if you get some aborted babies and then like render them in a blender, they'll be alive for a little bit, and you can use that living tissue to mass produce the viruses for your Panda Pops flavoration, and then that can be injected into people's veins, and So anytime I hear something about organic compounds, I think. Here's another thing, right? This is going to be a bit weird, right? But bear with me. So, this, by the way, is not me trying to do euphemism. Pepsi Cola, you know the manufacturers of the beverage, the carbonated beverage, yeah. Well, they use a line of kidney tissue from an abortion in 1971 that's been cloned numerous times, and the reason they use these kidney cells, and I don't understand how this works exactly, they put various flavors on the kidney tissues, and then they observe how it reacts. And then, based on the observations of how the kidney tissue reacts to these flavors, they use to make up the next formulation of Pepsi Cola. So it's all based on this 1971 cadaver of an abortion. And why that's done, I don't know. But I just think that's some pretty heinous shit. And I'm not singling out any beverage company, by the way. Don't sue me. I'm just saying, why are you doing this stuff? Do we really need to go to that alien flavor town? Can we not just go, you know what? We'll make some lemons and cinnamon and sugar together and mix it all up and see if people like that flavor. And if they don't, we'll go back to the drawing board and just sell lemonade. Why do we need to have like free nitroxypropanol poured onto like cloned kidney tissue?
Oh, this is strange. So, claims it causes cancer centre on safety studies that were performed on rats that are assessed by the UK regulator, the Food Standards Agency. This details results of studies giving the rodents a high dose of the product suggest it increased the risk of cancer in female. It says rates, but it must mean rats.
You know, one of my
however, Hobbit, a follow-up analysis found the rates of the disease were not statistically higher than the control group.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's good to go then. It definitely won't shrink your testicles. We can definitely trust the science on this one.
Yeah. This is the bit where Arla or the Daily Mail or whoever. I think this stuff is supposed to be a secret. It's not supposed to get out. But occasionally they're all so much in the know that they assume that we know some of the stuff they know. Is my guess, because it says claims the product is linked to Bill.
The policeman says, "We know what you did last night. What you know about the burglary? No, tell us a bit more about the burglary."
Yeah. No, I think it's different to that. I think they talk about this stuff, without knowing that the plebs aren't supposed to know about it. So I think occasionally bits slip out.
Well, that's the problem. In their attempts to do damage control, going like, oh, yeah, look, we knew all along that you knew about us using aborted baby kidney tissue to make our flavour processes. And that was a thing, actually. I think it might have even been a BBC Verify or Snopes thing saying, actually, Pepsi Cola doesn't use kidneys in their flavouring. They just use kidney tissue to test the flavours on. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm glad I stand corrected on that, Snopes.com. Thank you so much.
So anyway, the Daily Mail, doing their best Snopes impression, say, claims the product is linked to Bill Gates appear to be a confusion with the Microsoft co-founder investing millions in Ruminate, a separate company developing similar methane-reducing supplements in early 2023.
Oh, well, you know what? I'll be able to rest easy at night knowing that Bill Gates isn't trying to kill me just yet.
Yeah, you're the wrong colour for Bill Gates to be trying to kill you, a bit.
Well, he did do that thing where he released billions of mosquitoes into Florida with yellow fever. Was it dengue fever or yellow fever?
Dengue fever.
It was just like, here's a disease which we've eradicated in the USA.
Fucking hell. Have you looked at Ruminate's website?
I'm trying not to.
Yeah, accelerating a pathway to a world with a secure, climate optimal food system.
That's literally just like that. No, I can translate that into layman speak. Hello, WEF. Please give us more money. Thank you.
We are on a mission to decarbonise 100 million cattle by 2030. What's this 2030? Why are they all talking about this 2030 figure?
That's the real 2012. That's got to be when the sun goes mini nova, or we get a pole shift, or Lamals, do the Macarena.
Yeah, they got to ruin the Earth quick before the aliens take over.
I was reading the lyrics tonight. It's like, I know what sectoids are. This is an XCOM parody. It's like they're talking about how like you get a 95% chance to hit and you still miss. Oh, that annoys me so much. With excellent 95%, that means you've got like a 1 in 20 chance of fail. You will fucking fail 100% of the time.
So okay, so this 100 million cattle that they're going to poison and give cancer to, that's 0.4% of all anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah. Shall I read the BBC Verify article?
Yeah, let's go for it. And then I think that will do us on this for now, because this is developing, isn't it?
UK Snopes. Some, they mean Twitter, but they don't want to mention it. UK
TikTok.
social
media. I think this is happening on TikTok, I think. Because the Daily Mail say it's all happening on TikTok.
Well, I was going to say if it was, then they'd be like far right.
Because the Daily Mail say indignantly, in one TikTok video seen over 207,000 times, one man points to his bottle of after semi-skim milk, which displays the label sourced from Harlan Farms. He adds, "This will be going straight down the drain, and I won't be buying Asda milk again."
I pour that stuff down the drain because it's a waste product. Look, I want. Why have you taken away cream from my milk? Literally, if I was like, no, this is when I'm king. By the way, when I am king, there will be a rule saying that the only milk you can get is normal, and then
Hobbit. I know you're worried about this thing, but do you want me to just put your mind at rest?
Oh, I'll get to the BBC Verify.
But this is a standard sheet designed for workers at processing facilities. DSM Firmenich also noticed. This merely ensures safe use, and such procedures are quite common for feed.
That was a non-answer.
No, it's not a non-answer. It's you should see the rest of the fucking shit we give into cows. I think that's what it means.
You don't even want to know what we feed cow. Oh, well, there was literally that thing, which led to the BSE crisis.
Yeah, exactly. Feeding them spines and fucking brains was the least of the shit we give to cows, I think is what that means. It sounds quite sinister to me. Such procedures are quite common for feed.
The number of people that go, "Oh, I'm lactose intolerant," it's like, well, look, if you're darky, then yes, and you should never eat any food ever again.
Yeah.
But secondly, you're not lactose intolerant. Go to an actual farm where they'll sell milk, and chances are, if you go to a farm, you can see the cow. If you see the cows like literally smell like death warmed up, and like they're being beaten with iron bars,
and you see Bill Gates rubbing his hands somewhere near.
Well, he's rubbing his big man tits on the cows. Then you can go, "Oh, you know what? I think I'll give this a miss." You know, frankly, I don't.
Just reminds me. Do you remember that old Richard Spencer meme, the very disrespectful one?
Oh, his nipples protruding, very disrespectful. His big fat man tits wobbling, very disrespectful.
A shameful display.
Bill Gates last seen boarding Epstein's plane with his big man tits wobbling about. The thing is, right, you go to a local farm, you can see the quality of the cows, and you drink the milk, and you go, "Oh, this milk doesn't give me the shits. I don't have stomach cramps drinking this. But I thought I was lactose intolerant." No, turns out what you're intolerant to is drinking milk with who God knows what's inside it. Literal fucking poison. And anyway, as I said, when I am king, the only milk that's available.
I can't remember the last time that I had a pint of milk.
Some people are
can you hear me a bit? I can't remember the last time I had a pint of milk separate. Can you hear me now? Oh,
well, they're homogenised. That's why.
Yeah, like I say, I can't remember the last time I had a pint of milk separate.
Well, yeah, because the milk's homogenised, so it doesn't do that. The milk I get,
or like you know, when it's been in the fridge. I don't know if it's the rate we drink milk in our house, which could possibly be it. But you don't even get that. You know, when it tastes funny when it's on the turn.
I'm telling you now, if you get homogenised milk, you leave it for a day in the fridge, and the cream will rise to the top. So, as I was saying, when I am king, there will only be normal milk. any milk where you're skimming the cream off to make butter and cream, the waste product of which will be given to the cows. They can have it. But not having any of this. Like, people buying skimmed milk need to be publicly flogged. Look, if you want to punish yourself like that, just put some chalk in water. It'll be healthier for you.
It looks like paintbrush water. It looks like paintbrush water, doesn't it? You know when you clean your brushes in the water, and it's just that cut. It's that same weird kind of almost see-through white, isn't it?
It's horrible fucking stuff. It's not good for you. So anyway, let's get on to the BBC and I need to just turn on my snark when reading this.
Mariana, who's just here to save us from the evil Blormf. Is she trying to save us from Blormf and Putin?
Mariana's stench, more like.
Mariana's trench, more like.
Some UK social medias have been pouring milk
We need Greg Wallace to come and save us, just to have a bit of banter with Mariana's, talking about Mariana's trench.
Toilets in protest at the trial of a new feed additive that claims to significantly reduce the emission of methane gas in dairy cows.
Oh, she just snopes it? Is she just snopes them? Actually, she's just said that they claim that it does. That not. Is she telling us that that's not really the purpose of this feed additive?
The purpose of this feed additive is to poison you. End of. Arla Foods, a Danish-Swedish company.
Exactly. Why should we care? We're British.
Yeah, it's like, why are you running our milk then?
Yeah.
Which owns the UK's biggest dairy cooperative, announced last week that 30 of its farms across the country would test the additive.
I'm so pleased that they destroyed the hideous evil cartel of the Milk Marketing Board.
Yes,
the evil cartel that ruled over us and was just destroying our lives.
I tell you what, they didn't have Bovaer in the milk when the Milk Marketing Board was running milk.
Exactly, that's why they had to smash it up.
And they would test the additive named Bovaer. My grandmother worked for.
I've got no idea how to say Bovaer. Is it Bovaer, Bova?
I'm looking at it's bovine and air. So AER.
Just call it Bloviate from now on a bit, because that's what it is.
Well, I figured another way of pronouncing it. So you've got Bovaer, Ovair, Ove, Bovaer, but also you could call it Bovaer.
Oive.
I like the idea of Bovaer because that's the hardest way to pronounce it.
Bovaer.
The company behind
is that because you can't say the T in planetarium?
Yeah, that's it. Well, the problem is there's no consonants between these vowels. The company behind Bovaer, which is added in which is added in small quantities to cow feed. Oh, look, we've only put a little bit of strychnine with your food. What are you complaining about?
Yeah.
Says it
Graham Young, the teacup poisoner, he only used to put a little bit of thallium in there, didn't he?
Says it could reduce cow methane emission. Oh, refer back to our previous
episode. Have you noticed how many qualifying words they're using in this article? It's like they don't even believe themselves that this shit works.
It's like, look, we're going to say ostensibly it's about cow methane emissions, but really it's just to shrink your testicles.
It's a control tactic. You will enjoy the butt over there.
So it's to cow methane emissions between 30 to 45%. It has been approved for use by the UK regulators, who definitely haven't been paid off, and several major supermarkets will stock milk produced by cattle eating feed.
Who definitely don't give a shit what goes into their products in their store.
And the supermarkets have all conspired with one another, so that way you're fucked no matter what supermarket you go to. You say, "Oh, fuck you." Some online users have raised concerns about the use of Bovaer, citing issues around the safety of certain compounds used in it. However, experts that also have been paying off the BBC have told the BBC that the additive does not pose any food safety issues. Do you know what's funny about that? Kale, right? We're all familiar with kale. You know, I like it, and it's generally recognised as safe. We've been eating it for...
Didn't cows used to be extremely familiar with kale?
We've all eaten kale, and it's generally recognised as safe. You feed kale to cows, and then the children have their milk. They get hyperthyroidism, or is it hypothyroidism? Either way, it damages the thyroid glands of children. So something as innocuous as kale, weird, eh?
Yeah, feeding cows fucking paint stripper or whatever the fuck they're putting in this stuff. Like, that's absolutely fine.
Oh, my favourite thing is you feed them expired sweets because that's calories, right? And they don't even take them out the wrappers, so they're just eating it, plastic and all.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, do you remember when you thought that feeding cows like other cows was rock bottom for the feed industry? And the feed industry like, nah, we can go even lower.
Spade West definitely go on that. Look, in order to secure our food futures, we are just going to have to buy stuff directly from farms, because that way you will be actually talking with the stewards of the land.
But the problem is, as we've said before, like, they're killing off the most compliant. Like, the least compliant will go out and find proper milk, won't they?
It's an experiment, and what's the end goal of this experiment gonna be? But anyway, let's get through this article.
Who knows? It'll be a laugh. I think that's what they say in Davos.
Give me a chance to get through the shit. We're almost through it there. So where have we got? Some online users have raised concerns around the use of buffer.
Concern trolls.
Yeah,
Ugh.
citing issues around the safety of certain compounds used in it. However, experts told the BBC, we said that bit. Other consumers have been threatening to boycott products from leading supermarkets in anger over the trial. Well, multiple farmers have taken to social media to inform users that they don't use Bovaer. So Yew Valley Organic Yogurt, they use milk provided to them by Arla. However, because it's organic, that means they can't use additives with it, as it would no longer be organic, and then they'd lose the organic certification.
Does organic cover the feed, does it, as well?
Yeah. Organic basically means, like, look, how would have people done this 200 years ago? That's how we're doing it.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were fucking Bill Gates has got carve-outs in it.
It's kind of like saying, like, well,
who does the organic certification?
It's like, well, Tony Soprano did break my uncle's kneecaps, but he's nice to me, I guess, so I'll trust him and go to his sandwich shop and have some.
Who does our organic certification? I was going to have a look at their rules.
It's definitely not a mafia. So, experts told the BBC, we said this bit. Other consumers, we said this bit as well. I'll get through this article eventually, Emmy. Don't worry. It takes, Meanwhile, baseless claims of it being part of a depopulation, and that's in scare quotes, plot, have swirled online alongside misinformation about its links to US billionaire Bill Gates. The manufacturer, DSM
Hobbit. Can I read you something from the government website?
Almost finished.
Go on then, and then I'll read you something that's got a fucking hole you can drive a truck through.
Yeah, the manufacturer DSM Firmenich said mistruths in information, that's a hyperlink for some reason, have been spread about its product. It says it is totally safe, and that's in scare quotes, for use. And it's been tested over many years in many countries. Oh, have they all got shrinking testicles then? So anyway,
well, what have you found? You listen to this then. Rules you must follow to get organic certification. To get certified as an organic farmer, you must use only organic farming methods. You should maintain soil fertility using crop rotation and other organic farming methods. Only control weeds, pests and diseases where necessary using organic farming techniques and approved materials. Only process organic food where necessary using limited approved products and substances. You must avoid using artificial fertilisers, pesticides and products for cleaning and disinfection where they're needed. You must only use fertilisers listed in the organics regulations, pesticides listed in the organics regulations, products for cleaning and disinfection listed in the organics regulations. Have you noticed what they're not mentioning there?
Well, they're not saying you must not feed spines and brains to cows.
Yeah. Hold on. So 12 months to convert grass for pig and poultry grazing, as long as no, because the feed would be. Because I'm trying to think what carve out they do for this.
Just to respond to the chat, Spedwest, you definitely should go to your local farm. We should all be going to our local farms. I've got one that's 6 miles from me. I told my mum and dad about farm 6 miles to them, and they don't care. And they was like, "Oh, why are we so unhealthy?" It's like, "Oh, well, you know." Yeah.
I mean, so it does say that you have to. So you have to have organic. So it takes. So if you go from a regular farm to an organic farm, it takes 12 months to convert grass for pig and poultry grazing, as long as no banned products have been applied to the soil in the previous 12 months. 2 years to convert land intended for ruminant grazing and annual crops. So it doesn't say. I can't see anything that says about feed. I wonder whether feed is a loophole that they've put in there so they can still give the cows brains.
The feed, it will be it's you're not feeding them.
I'll put the link anyway. You can have a quick flick through it if you want.
Yeah, okay. I really want to get through this BBC article.
Oh, you're not finished? I think you're finished.
No, I'm not finished. You're very keen today. What do we know about Bovaer in the new trial? Methane is a much more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. Citation fucking needed, and is helping driving climate change. Oh, with the citations, right? So, Britannica, as in Encyclopedia Britannica, has a Twitter post.
Britannica's pretty based, actually, when you get stuff off it.
Well, they posted a fact today saying that there was only 30 years difference between the Republic of Texas and the Holy Roman Empire. And then someone said, source? And then the Britannica replied with, us. What's your citation? The Encyclopedia Britannica. So, yeah, the Holy Roman Empire was from 800 AD to 1806, and the Republic of Texas was 1836 till whenever it was incorporated into the United States. What do you know about
my closest one's fucking miles away. I don't know how. Actually, I don't know how far. It's not that far, really.
Is it more than 6 miles?
Probably.
You could probably get some on the way back home, and you go here, there, and everywhere for your work. Yeah. Methane is much. Well, yeah, we did that. Cows produce it when their stomachs are breaking down hard fibers like grass for digestion. This fermentation process creates methane gas, which is then mostly belched out again. Bovaer works to suppress the enzymes in the cow's stomach that create the gas. That's going to be really good. You're suppressing the enzymes that help them break down the grass.
Yeah, that's not going to have any effects, is it?
Why are our cows so sickly and unable to digest grass anymore? And why do they all?
Why are our cows shitting themselves to death? My closest is actually 9.1 miles.
Oh dear. Yeah. Well, that'll give enough time for your engine to warm up then. Bovaer works to suppress that. The National Farmers Union, the NFU, says when the additive is used as recommended, it breaks down in the cow's digestive system, and as such is not found in milk or meat. Citation fucking needed. According to DSM Firmenich, according to the company that makes the product, the additive is available for sale in 68 countries across the world. As part of its trial, Arla Foods is working with some of the UK's largest supermarkets, including Tesco, Morrison's and Aldi, not mentioned there is Marks and Spencer and Waitrose, who will stock products produced by cows which have eaten the additive. What claims have been made about
But it's going to be like fucking whack-a-mole, because there's Ruminate and fucking and Bovaer are the tip of the fucking iceberg. There's going to be at least, because this is what they're going to do. I think they're going to put it all on Bovaer, aren't they? And say fuck all about Ruminate, aren't they?
Put it this way. Since about January, I've been going to the local dairy for my milk. And since then, my digestive health has improved immensely. I very rarely get. I did get stomach cramps like the other day, but I think that's when I had COVID. So it wasn't because of the food I'm eating. So what claims have been made about Bovaer? Since Arda announced the trial, Bovaer has been subject to a huge range of claims online. Among those raising concerns has been Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe, who said on X, that's Twitter, that he had asked the department. I do this thing where people use a new term for something and I refer to the old term. I refuse to update my lexicon. Look, I've spent all my life learning in the English language and I'm slow. I'm not going to use your new terms. Go fuck yourself. He has asked the Department for Environmental, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, to carry out an urgent review of the additive. Meanwhile, some dairy farms have said they will not use the feed, citing concerns over some of its compounds used to make the additive.
Yeah, so some farmers go, you know what? I don't actually want to kill my workers or make them sterile.
Or some of the farmers go, I can't be bothered to put on like a hazmat suit to feed my cows.
Yeah,
I'm just going to give them silage if they're not out in the fields. Meanwhile, some dairy farms said they will not use the feed, citing concerns some of the compounds used to make the additive, or maybe citing the concerns that they don't want to dress up like they're about to go into a nuclear fucking reactor to put this strange white powder in the cow's feed. Bovaer is made using silicon dioxide, sand, propylene glycol, vape juice.
Why don't more people go, you know what, Bill Gates, you can go fuck yourself?
I think there was an international arrest warrant for him. That's it, in Japan. If he sets foot in Japan again, he will be arrested. So silicon dioxide, sand, propylene glycol, gay Zuma juice, because that's what's in vapes, an organic compound, so free nitrooxypropanol.
I think they call it also 3-nop. You can call it 3-nop.
Free NOP, yeah. Opponents of the additive have pointed out a report by the FSA, no idea what the FSA is, doesn't say, last year, which found that free NOP should be considered corrosive to the eyes, a skin irritant, potentially harmful by inhalation.
My dinner's here, so you're going to get to finish that article.
All right, so it's you're just with me for the moment as Emmy's having a late lunch. So should be considered corrosive to the eye, skin irritant, potentially harmful by inhalation to humans handling it. But experts, as in people paid by the firm that makes it, emphasise that no traces of Bovaer or the compounds contained within it would be found in milk or other produce, as it is broken down in the cow's stomach and definitely won't cause the cow to have cancer. It has gone through a series of regulatory processes around the world, and all are satisfied that. So when they say all are satisfied, it means like
as we said before, though, like what are the long-term effects of stopping cows from farting? Because there was you ever heard that rumor that they had the cure for the common cold, but it actually killed people because they couldn't get rid of it.
There was the thing with morning sickness, where thalidomide was the miracle cure that cured it. And like we now know about FLIDs and why it was a mistake to give pregnant mothers this thing. It's just a mistake to give this. So anyway, let me translate this. It has gone through a series of bribes around the world, and all the people who bribed are satisfied that it actually does what it's claimed, which is to poison people. They don't care. They got their bribes. Professor Chris Elliott, Chief Bribe Shill, an expert in food safety and microbiology at Queen's University Belfast, told the BBC. Yeah,
expert in brown envelopes.
Yeah, Professor Chris Elliott, expert in receiving backhanders. His PhD thesis was in how I can bend over to receive huge paychecks from companies. It's a funny story, right? My great aunt, or like cousin first removed or something, she was a food scientist, and She was employed by GlaxoSmithKline for a while. I think she had something to do with the development of the Solero, but that's another story. When she was working with GlaxoSmithKline, which for those not familiar with it is a UK pharmaceutical company, but they have a license to produce 2 food products, one being Ribena and the other one being Lucozade. It might have changed since then. She was tasked with finding out what a great thing this was, and she said, "Well, it's sugar water. So yeah, if you've been doing intensive sports and you're dehydrated and hungry, sugar water will help you regain that energy." And then Lucozade, touted itself as being this wonderful miracle cure. It's a panacea. You've stepped in the dog dirt. Well, have some Lucozade, you'll feel better. It's just, and then she said they basically pay to put my name on the product to say, "Oh, we've got endorsements from the UK's top food scientists. This product's definitely safe and it's wonderful, and mothers should stop breastfeeding their children and just put Lucozade in baby bottles." Fuck's sake. They actually do that in Mexico. They put Coca-Cola in baby bottles and then feed it to their children. But you warm it up, because if it's warmed up, then that's okay, because you can't give it to them. Just women logic. It is another sort of woman logic moment. I went to the petrol station and they were out of petrol, so I put diesel in my petrol car. And it's like, well, what do you mean that will kill the engine? It's more expensive and it makes the engine noisier. It's like, well, there is some logic in that. Diesel engines are noisier than petrol engines. But anyway, back to the article. We're talking about Professor Chris Elliott, who's got a PhD in backhanders. Other opponents have pointed to claims that free NOP could cause cancer, but UK regulators who dismissed the concerns after carrying out an assessment, which they were handed a big envelope full of unmarked notes which can't be traced anywhere. And their conclusion was the additive is not carcinogenic at the recommended inclusion rate. Oh, that is a big caveat. At the recommended inclusion rate. The FSA told the BBC in the statement, again, no explanation what the FSA is, milk from cows given Bovaer, a feed additive used to reduce methane emissions, is safe and effective. Bovaer has undergone rigorous safety assessments and it's approved for use in Great Britain. In a statement to the BBC, Arla said safety concerns are being spread online were completely false. They hate us because we are Danish. A spokesman for DSM, "You are racist towards the Scandinavians." A spokesman for DSM Pharma said, "We are grateful for independent, third-party experts that are not employed by us in any way, who have come out to counter this misinformation." Where's Bill Gates been dragged into this controversy? Big tits enthusiast Bill Gates. Some of those posting online have alleged that Microsoft founder and big tits enthusiast Bill Gates is involved in the development of Bovaer, a claim which the additive's developer flatly denies. In a strongly worded statement on the 2nd of December, DSM Firmenreich had said it had fully developed Bovaer and emphasised that the company had no other investors. Bill Gates is not involved in the development of Bovaer, the statement added. The US-based billionaire has instead invested in a rival startup, Ruminate. It's got the number 8 at the end of rumen, which develops a similar methane-reducing product. So again, it's just it's like the idea of, well, we found one pikey gang and we've accused them of fencing the fucking bags. And then when we interviewed them, they say, "No, we never. All we do is we steal copper from building sites." No, you want that gang over there. They're the ones that steal bikes. Mr. Gates has long been the subject of multiple conspiracy theories, the most extreme of which claim he is part of an effort to depopulate the world. Oh, interesting enough, Bill Gates' father, name escapes me, let's call him Mr. Gates Sr., he was the head of Planned Parenthood in the UK, in the United States, and was friends with Margaret Sanger, who, and this is her words, blacks are weeds, they need to be curled. I wonder if she ever spoke with Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg's got a similar statement about the blacks. Some online activists, how dare you say that about me? Some online activists have sought to link Bovaer to such claims, pointing to a past approval letter from US regulator to the FDA, which found that the additive could lead to male infertility. Yeah, it causes testicle atrophy. That's shrinking of testicles. However, the letter was referring to the precautions that must be taken when handling the product in its pure form, rather than it was added to animal feed. Jack Bobo of the University of Nottingham Food Systems Institute told the BBC the concerns appeared to stem from a misunderstanding of the FDA approval letter Ooga Booga. His name's Jack Bobo. I wonder if he has a telephone, and could we say that's his Jack Bobo phone? Bobo phone. I still remember the Bobo phone. Great thing. The letter highlights precaution. Oh, hang on. This is Jack Bobo talking. The letter highlights precautions related to the handling of Bovaer due to the active ingredient free NOP. However, it is important to note this active ingredient does not remain in the final dairy product. Ooga booga. Bobo phone. How the debate unfolded online? Debate. Oh my God, we're almost through.
So which of whose laws is it they're breaking? Is it thermodynamics that this stuff just goes inside cows and then disappears?
It's a magic fairy dust that will do nothing to them, but it will also reduce methane. And you better wear a hazmat suit when handling it, and don't breathe it in, for God's sake. And the fact that Geiger counters start ticking when it's near, just coincidence. Bananas are radioactive too, don't you know? In a post on X announcing it, which is Twitter, announcing its partnership with Tesco.
How much banana do you need to make a nuclear weapon
then? You can't. It's radioactive potassium isotopes in it. So in a post on X announcing its partnership with Tesco, Aldi and Morrison's has nearly 6 million views and has attracted thousands of comments.
Tesco aren't evil at all, are they?
Yeah, Tesco, fuck everybody else. Well, that's their slogan, right? Users with a history of spreading conspiracy theories. Users with a history of sharing information have latched onto the
I think he means users with a history of repeating back what you've said.
Yes. They've latched onto the trial within hours. Some of those posting have the past shared anti-vaccine and climate change denying content. Wow.
I don't think anyone's denied that the weather changes. I mean, we have seasons, don't we?
You denied the climate change holocaust. Other users, however, appear to be sharing posts about the additive out of genuine concern. According to the social media analysis firm Brandwatch, mentions of Bovaer on Twitter rose from virtually zero to over 71,000 in the days after the trial was announced. Meanwhile, on TikTok, clips attacking
why are people covering up for bloviate?
Why are people covering up for the fact Jerry Nadler shat himself?
Yeah. Why are people covering up for the fact that Bill Gates is a completely different person with a different disgusting chemical that is being fed to cows?
Yeah, it's just like, that's a red herring. Anyway, back onto bloviate. No, you're mixing up ruminate and Bovaer.
Yeah.
You see, it's common faux pas amongst conspiracy theorists.
Bloviate. I think bloviate would be the best. Would be the better name for the Bill Gates one.
Then, I call it fat tits. Because his tits are big.
You need to start a new account. Bill Gates back fat tits. That's what you need to do.
Just a comment. It's like, do you remember the Week in Bits with Jordan's tits?
Yeah.
The Week in Bits with Bill Gates's fat tits.
Yeah.
Oh, can I actually get like Twitter verification for Bill Gates's tits? A blue check mark on Twitter.
Bill Gates is just impotent rage as you're just going around with that name.
Well, just various just comments like, as a pair of fat
but you only comment on Bill Gates posts where he's doing evil things.
Or just sort of various posts around the world. As a pair of fat tits on an aging man, my opinion on the subject is thus. Meanwhile, on TikTok, clips attacking the product received up to 1.8 million views each. Some of the most popular have seen users disposing of packets of Arla's Lurpak butter and pouring cartons of milk away, with one captioned, "Not in my house." The National Farmers Union says 15 years of trials have proved there is.
Do you think this could be their Bud Light moment? Do you think it could be Arla's Bud Light moment?
People have literally been saying this is a Jaguar Bud Light moment. The Jaguar thing is kind of just like,
that's crazy. That is the Jaguar.
That was well. I've heard some people say it's the smokers' brand of choice. What with it being called Faguar? And hey, YouTube. That's just British slang for cigarettes.
Yeah, fuck off, YouTube. Fuck off, Yank.
Yeah.
Don't police my language.
Yeah, I mean, you guys get so embarrassed about the word cock, you have to call it a rooster. And you can't call it oilseed rape, you have to call it canola. Fuck you. Yanks trying to tell me how I should pronounce English.
And fucking arugula. What the fuck is arugula? That's a fucking child's name, arugula.
Zucchini. Fuck off. The National Farmers Union said 50 years of trials have proved that there is no risk to consumers or animals, except for the farmers handling it when they skin mounted off their hands. And then what else are they saying? Both.
It'll probably be in like the next Jason film or something, won't it? There'll be a farmer and Jason will just fucking douse him in bloviate, won't he, or something?
Yeah, and then he'll just start like melting in front.
Yeah,
it'll just be like that guy in RoboCop where he gets dunked in the vat of cows.
big vat of bloviate falls on him.
Oh, he falls into like a milk vat, and he's like comes out. He's like, help me!
I fell into the bloviate.
I fell into a bit bloviate barrel. It burns, burns, burns.
Like a ring of fire.
The ruminate.
If that does that, like when those cows fart, that's going to be like a ring of fire, isn't it? You'll be see cows fucking running all over the shop with their arse on fire.
I just imagine them all go moo, moo, moo. Oh, the poor cows. Oh, don't hurt my cow. I actually don't like. Here's the thing, right? I don't like chickens. Not too keen on pigs, but cows. I like cows. I get on with cows. They're nice. They're
they're better than Bill Gates' fat tits, aren't they?
Well, I can talk with cows, and they won't say actually to me.
Yeah. So are we done with this hideous fucking article, or we got to do some more shilling for Bill Gates?
Yeah, no, that's it really. I'm done with it now, and we laughed and we shared some good laughs and stuff, and I think we all had a good time and discussed it, and so Lawrence of Arrakis, what's all that about, eh?
Yeah, go on then, your bit.
Right, so some of you will be familiar.
Full disclosure, I've never seen Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, it's a good film. You should watch it.
I will do one day.
Yeah, no, it is a good film, right? So if you're a fan of Dune, and of course I'm talking about Lynch's Dune because who cares about that modern bullshit? You'll be seeing.
What you mean with the beautiful Vogue cover model? What's her face?
What, the real living caveman woman?
She's a beautiful Vogue model, Hobbit. How can you be so disgusting about her?
It's the missing link.
It's the beautiful elfin Chani brought to life.
Oh, this is nice. Maybe you can post this on the thing. So here I am on on the BBC, right? And the BBC have given me a pop-up advert. You know, that they found a way to get past the Braves ad blocking stuff. So I'll post it in.
Where's the will, there's a way, isn't there?
This is the advert that popped up when I was on the BBC website. Have you seen that fucking hideous ape?
Oh, have you seen the well, I can't put it up now, can I? You know, you said that.
Oh, and then it shows this thing saying, so you can sign in or register, or you can do it maybe later. How about? Yeah. Oh, I'm not allowed to say "fuck off," you. The bit that Harvey Price says on you know, to bullies. Yeah.
Well, he says hello to him, doesn't he?
Hello, you cunt.
Where is Harvey? We haven't done any Harvey. I miss the Harvey news from JDLE. I like to know what the Harvey's up to these days.
I know, but I was expecting Ian A to do that, but then he turned into a big girl's blouse. He was probably like mainline Bouvier, for all I know.
His testicles are shriveled up, have they?
Yeah. Well, what can you do? So you'll get to a bit when you're watching Dune, and it'll show a guerrilla war between the. To
be fair, that is a decent montage, though, isn't it?
And that montage is entirely based on. It's entirely based on Lawrence of Arabia. It's Lawrence of Arabia.
So what happens in the book? Does he describe the war with it, or does he just go, and then a war happened?
What, in Dune?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's like 2/3 of the book is about the war.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So, Lawrence of Arabia, I suppose we ought to start with who he was and why he was.
Yeah.
He was in this was back in the period of World War One, where the Ottoman Empire was still a thing. A disgusting, decadent, evil empire full of horrible people. So you'll be like, "Oh, Hobbit, you're just bloviating again."
Yeah, but Hobbit, where would you have blanket boxes from?
Women.
Where would you get blanket boxes from if it wasn't for the Ottoman Empire, Hobbit?
The Ottomans would kidnap women and children from Christian nations exclusively, and they'd rape them. And then the children which they'd rape and beat would then be raised up into their army as janissaries.
Yeah. And
these were the slave caste soldiers of the Ottoman Empire. And utterly disgusting, utterly decadent. And Tia Lawrence.
Yeah, but their blanket boxes were nice. Hobbit, do you know what an Ottoman is, don't you, Hobbit?
Go fuck yourself. So the Lawrence of Arabia.
What do you know what an Ottoman is or not?
It's a piece of furniture.
Exactly. Like, they gave us that. Like, where would we put our blankets if it wasn't for the Ottoman Empire?
Is this like one of those copes when they're saying, what have black people ever done for us apart from crime? Or
you think you're English? Yeah. You put your blankets in an Ottoman, do you, Hobbit? That means you should have millions of immigrants.
What was that picture again? Like 14 pictures of brown people crying. That will make you say fuck having borders and shit.
Fish and chips, they're not.
So anyway,
tea doesn't come from England. Do you think you're British, Hobbit? Do you?
The wheel was invented in Babylon. So what are you doing claiming that like the Jaguar has 4 wheels on it? You're just Babylonian there. So Lawrence of Arabia managed to unite the Bedouin together into a fighting force that was able to defeat a seemingly undefeatable, highly decadent empire. And Dune is not entirely based on.
I've got a feeling that the highly decadent part of it did play a part in their downfall.
Well, it turns out when you're building an empire and raping little boys and women,
and putting them in blanket boxes,
it's not the best. Why is your hard on for blanket boxes? Like I don't get this.
The Ottoman Hobbit.
Look, there's nothing redeemable about Ottomans in any way, shape, or form. They're
not even the blanket
evil.
boxes.
And I'm glad that the Ottoman Empire is finished with. It's too bad that the Ottomans weren't wiped out to the last man. It's the same with the Aztecs. I mean, I'm sorry, Cortez. I mean, you had a good start on it, but then you crossbred with the Aztecs and you gave them European intelligence. Now we've got MS-13. Well done. These people are absolute fucking savages. And was it Saint Michael who said that righteous fury is the anger of God to smite evil? It's not like there's nothing wrong with anger when it's used righteously. And these people, the evil in its pure sense of the word is anti-life.
If I've learned one thing from Red Dwarf, it's that Saint Francis of Assisi said, "Never give a sucker an even break." Was that it? I can't remember what the Francis of Assisi line
was. I think there was that thing about in Reverse World where Saint Francis of Assisi was a sadist going around maiming small animals.
No, it's from Wax. It's from Wax World. It didn't say. Rimmer says Saint Francis of Assisi said, "I'm sure it was never give a sucker an even break," and Lister said, "No, he didn't." He said, "Yeah, he did about a minute ago."
Right, because in the reverse, it might not have been in the episode, but it was in the book, where like Lister's saying, "This means like
it's Santa Claus." They say about Santa Claus went round stealing little kids' presents. Yeah,
and Saint Francis of Assisi going around maiming small animals, but people like Hitler would have brought millions of people back to life. Well, I suppose Pol Pot and Stalin, for that matter, if you've.
I don't know.
Into the nitty-gritty.
That's about the same as they're regarded now. Like, it's not a bad thing to be pretending to be Stalin, is it? Just damn it. Yeah.
So, oh, that's right. I was going to read about T. Lawrence because I've given the thing. Now, Dune's also based on Sabres of Paradise, which is about Chechens versus Russians, and I've not read it, so I can't really say much there. But
I only remember the 90s techno outfit.
The uniting tribes together to fight an evil, decadent Harkonnens. I mean, that's just the Ottomans. So if I look at T.E.
Also the child raping, the Harkonnens are quite into that, even though like no one really wants to address it in the Dune films, do they?
Yeah, it's funny how that was completely glossed over. Why can't I have simple reader for Wikipedia pages? Why is that not a thing?
I don't know.
You go on the news website and just, well, I use invert this then, so I get like thing. Oh, another thing
isn't
about
there
Lawrence Ray,
can't you turn dark mode on Wikipedia? I've never tried, but surely there is, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there is actually. Let me try that. So I go. I want to turn the invert off, and then we'll go dark.
That'd be funny if you turn invert on and then do dark mode. Back square one.
Yeah. So Thomas Edward Lawrence, T.E. Lawrence.
T.He.
He's got T.He. He's got a CB, which is the most honourable order of the Bath. All right.
Didn't he have a shower?
So he's got a bath, and he's got a DSO, which is a Distinguished Service Order. So he was born in the 16th of August 1888, and he died on the 19th of May 1935. He was my God, he looks a lot like Peter O'Toole.
Are you sure you're not looking at a picture of Peter O'Toole?
No, this is a picture of T. Lawrence in 1918. Let me just bring up a picture of Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole.
Yeah, because he does a bit, doesn't he?
And then let me just have a look at. No, I'm getting this. Is he? Oh, that's a picture of him when he's older. Oh no, it's striking because Peter O'Toole played at him in 1962. Yeah, No, he really
That
looks...
that is it watercolor or oil? I can't tell. That picture of him, he looks
God,
quite a bit like.
that's incredible. The resemblance to him in Lawrence of Arabia. That's funny though, because so that was filmed 1962, but 1968, he's O'Toole's in a film called Present Laughter, and he's got sideburns on. The eyes are slightly different, but the eyebrows, it's so. Anyway, point is, T.E. Lawrence. He was a British Army officer, an archaeologist, diplomat, and writer known for his role during the Arab Revolt and the Sinai and Palestinian campaign. Oh, wait, but I'm told by Israelis that there's no such thing as Palestine. Against the Ottoman Empire in the First World War. The breadth and variety of his activity and associations, and Lawrence's ability to describe them vividly in writing, earned him international fame as Lawrence of Arabia, a title used for the 1962 film based on his wartime activities. Lawrence was born in Tremedog, Carnarvonshire, Wales, the illegitimate son of Sir Thomas Chapman, who's an Anglo-Irish landowner. Oh, in that case, Peter O'Toole was ideal for playing him, so he's part Irish then. And Sarah Junner, a governess in Chapman's employ. So how come he gets the name Lawrence then? In 1896, Lawrence moved to Oxford, attending the City of Oxford High School for Boys, and read history at Jesus College, Oxford, from 1907 to 1910.
He didn't study it, he just read it then, did he?
Well, that's what you do when you do humanities. You read in it.
Oh, okay.
Because, well, there's not really, work you can do apart from reading when it comes to theology or history or stuff, classics. You read it. Excuse me.
Oh dear, Hobbit. There's a part on sexuality. Oh dear.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Look, he was in British public school. He got buggered. End of.
Yeah.
Between 1910 and 1914, he worked as...
Did you mention his French awards, Hobbit? He got the Knight of the Legion of Honour and the Croix de Guerre.
I'm reading this as we go along, so no, I haven't read on that. Keep up, Emmy. Okay. So between 1910 and 1914, he worked as an archaeologist for the British Museum, chiefly at Karkemish in the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, Shemesh. It's that place that fucking thing he talks about. Yeah, Shemesh.
Yeah.
Just pretend you're Borat. Yeah, so just pretend you're Borat. Yeah, Shemesh. That's what you need to call it.
Karkemish in Ottoman Syria. After the outbreak of war in 1914, Lawrence joined the British Army and was stationed at the Arab Bureau, a military intelligence unit in Egypt. In 1916, he travelled to Mesopotamia, because back then it was called Mesopotamia, and Arabia, because it wasn't owned by the House of Saud, it was just known as Arabia. On intelligence, that bit really fucks me off. Like, everyone calls it Saudi Arabia. It's like, well, no one calls it Windsor or Saxe-Coburg Gopher England, do they?
They call it the United Kingdom, so maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but they don't call it Windsor Kingdom.
No.
After the outbreak of war in 1914, so Arabia on intelligence missions and became involved with the Arab Revolt against the Ottoman rule. Lawrence was ultimately assigned to the British military mission in the Hejaz as a liaison. It doesn't say what the Hejaz is. It was a liaison to Emir Faisal, a leader of the revolt. He participated in engagements with the Ottoman military, culminating in the capture of Damascus in October.
Oh, the Hejaz is a region. Is a region that includes the majority of the west coast of Arabia, covering the cities of Mecca, Medina, Jeddah, Tabuk, Yanbu, Taif, and Balji Rushi. Thus, it's known as the Western Province.
Okay. After the war's end, he joined the Foreign Office, working with Faisal. In 1922, Lawrence retreated from public life and served as an enlisted man in the Army and Royal Air Force until 1935.
He's Faisal El bin Al Hussein bin Ali Al Hashimi. Is his full name Hobbit?
Well, I suppose that's a bit, that's a bit more inventive than just Muhammad 5 times. I encountered the surgeon and his name was Muhammad. And I just thought to myself, no, I'm not having someone with inbreeding doing surgery on me. Thanks. So he published he published The Seven Pillars of Wisdom in 1926, an autobiographical account of his participation in the Arab Revolt. Lawrence also translated books into English and wrote The Mint, which detailed his service in the RAF. He corresponded extensively with prominent artists, writers, and politicians. Where am I?
Yeah, and also participated in the development of rescue motorboats for the RAF.
But nowhere did he mention about he was a test pilot, because riders are pilots, for Brough Superior motorcycles.
It might.
Lawrence's public image resulted in part from the sensationalized reporting of the Arab Revolt by American journalist Lowell Thomas, as well as from Seven Pillars of Wisdom. In 1935, Lawrence died at the age of 46 after being injured in a motorcycle accident in Dorset. Again, nothing mentioned about Brough Superior. Literally the Rolls-Royce of motorbikes. And Rolls-Royce, when they heard they were using this slogan, they got all cross about it. And they said, oh, you can't say that. We got an image to maintain. So the head of quality control at Rolls-Royce was invited to Brough Superior. And he noticed that in the finishing room for the motorbikes, the only people that could handle the motorbikes wore cotton gloves. And he said, well, so they wouldn't put fingerprints on the paintwork. And he says, the attention to detail here is above what we'd even do at Rolls-Royce. And to say they're the Rolls-Royce of motorcycles is doing them a disservice. In fact, it would be nice if people said that Rolls-Royce was the Brough Superior of cars. And I thought, well, that's high praise indeed. So
it also says further down how he came around the name Lawrence.
Thomas Edward Lawrence was born on the 16th March in Tremedog, Carnarvonshire, or Carnarvonshire, depending on where you are. Tremedog. That's not a very Welsh name, is it? Tremedog. It doesn't sound Welsh.
Yeah, a lot of things. Dogs, I don't know. Must mean something in Welsh.
In a house named Gore, Phil with.
Is that Polish?
Yeah, it is. In a house called Glegos Zivzivzimnie, which is now known as
Whisper.
Gorse Whisper, which is now known as Snowdon Lodge.
Yeah.
His Anglo-Irish father, Thomas Chapman,
because they were fed up of spelling it and getting posted to the wrong house.
That was it. So it's just like, you know what, we're Snowdon Lodge now. Yeah. Had left his wife Edith after he had a first son with Sarah Junner, who had been governess to his daughters. Sarah was, back when people had a governess.
Yeah.
Sarah was so Sarah herself was an illegitimate child, born in Sunderland to Elizabeth Junner, a servant employed by a family named Lawrence. She was dismissed 4 months before Sarah was born and identified Sarah's father as John Junner, shipwright journeyman. Lawrence's parents did not marry, but lived together under the pseudonym of Lawrence. In 1914, his father inherited the Chapman Baron.
Isn't that sweet? They took on Lawrence after the name, named it after the woman who knocked up their grandmother.
Yes, but anyway, 1914, his father inherited the Chapman baronetcy based at Killula Castle, an ancestral family home in country Westmeath of Ireland. The couple had 5 sons. Thomas, which is called Ned, by his immediate family, being the second eldest. In 1889, the family moved from Wales.
They just love that. You know, when you look through the obituaries and it's Jack, also known as Jack Fred something or other. Like the name Fred just has nothing to do with his name whatsoever, but that's what everyone called him.
Yeah, so Edward, known to his friends as Robert.
Yeah. Just like, why did old people do this?
Nigel, known to his friends as John. So anyway, they moved from Wales to Kirkcudbright and Galloway in southwestern Scotland, then to the Isle of Wight, then to New Forest, then to Dinard in Brittany.
What the fuck were they running from? Did he owe money or something? There's a bit of travelling around there, isn't there?
I'm guessing it did. Oh, two pots.
It's either money or illegitimate children. That's one of the two reasons is why they move around so much.
That is an old picture. That's a D-Reg. What is that? What's the car? I'm
is it a Hillman? Is that a Hillman Imp? Is it or Triumph for Claim? Is it Triumph for Claim? Is it?
I can't make that out. What's the curvy blue car?
That's a Beetle. That's a Morris. I thought it was a Beetle, but it's a Morris.
I was going to say it's a Morris. Yeah,
it's got the blue plaque on it. When did blue plaques come in?
By the time that two Polstead Road. I mean, let me just check. Do I dox myself here and mention about my link to T. Lawrence?
No.
No, okay, yeah. So
not with the Starmer troops listening in.
Yeah, probably for the best actually. The Quirky Barbers Group Grooming Parlour. So let me just have a look at 2 Polstead Road. Right, so there's 2 Polstead Road. Oh, okay, that's not where I thought it was. And that's St. Aloysius, the primary Catholic school next door. Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, well, I'll tell you off of there, but yeah, I've actually this was when I decided I'm not doing any more. I'm not doing any more lorry driving. I was doing a delivery down Polstead Road, not to number 2, because if I did, I'd have looked.
Is this the faithful one of your fateful trips down Polstead Lane?
No, I didn't scrape any cars, and I've got to say, in all my career of driving lorries, I've never once had a road traffic accident. I did knock over a signpost once in the private car park, but that doesn't count. So where have we got now?
Not a Triumph for Claim. I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm sure it's a Triumph.
Well, it's got a reg number in there. Maybe if you put it in the DVLA, it'll tell you what it is. Oh yeah, we said so. They've moved around a bit. The family lived
Triumph Herald. No, it's not a Herald.
The family lived at Langley Lodge, which is now demolished, from 1894 to 1896, which is set in the private woods between the eastern borders of the New Forest and Southampton Water in Hampshire. Why do I keep saying Shire?
I think it's one of them. I just put it in the Discord. I think it might be a Triumph Herald.
If you showed me from the back, I don't think it is, because that's got raised tail sections. No, I think it's something else. So, young Lawrence had many opportunities for outdoor activities and waterfront visits. In the summer of 1896, the family moved to 2 Polstead Road in Oxford, where they lived until 1921. The wooden shed built in the garden for Lawrence to study when at school by is still standing. From 1896 until 1907, Lawrence attended the City of Oxford High School for Boys, one of the 4... Do I recognise that one? Oh, I do know. That's on George Street. Yeah. I think it's actually still a faculty. What's the thing about that? What does it say on it? Dominus Illuminatomia. I used to walk past that. My dad used to work on George Street, so when I was finished with my school, I used to go to his workplace and just wait for him to finish up, which didn't seem to take too long. He never let me do the lockup. I always wanted to do it, you see, but it was what are we doing? sorry. Back to there's a tradition legacy. Oh no. Anyway, back to what he's. So he went to the City of Oxford High School for boys. One of the 4 houses were later named Lawrence in his honour. The school closed in 1966. Lawrence and one of his brothers became commission officers in the Church Lads Brigade at St Aldate's Church.
What a lad!
I didn't know that. Oh yeah, that. It's kind of funny. It's just like, hey, Oxford's the city I used to go to, and it's like, oh, do you remember St Aldate's? And like, oh yeah, no, it's a trip down memory lane. Look at this stuff. Lawrence claimed that he ran away from home around 1905 and served for a few weeks as a boy soldier with the Royal Garrison Artillery at St Mawes Castle in Cornwall, from which he was bought out.
Oh, I think it might be a Hillman Hunter Hobbit. I think I might have found it.
Yeah,
I know it's one of those. I know it's one of them old like marks.
Do you know what the phrase "he was bought out" means?
What?
Because all I'm just thinking is football transfer. Well, you see here, Lawrence claimed he ran away from home in 1905, and he served for a few weeks as a boy soldier with the Royal Garrison Artillery at St Mawes Castle in Cornwall.
Yeah.
From which he was bought out.
Yeah, that would be his contract. Would have been paid up. Whatever contract.
Oh, okay.
Whatever contract he had with them, he paid
bought out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what.
Oh, so like an indentured servant being bought out.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, his contract's been paid up.
I
assume this was to go and work somewhere, was it?
However, no evidence of this appears in the army records.
Yeah, because it used to be in the army that you could just go to him and go, "I've had enough. What's it going to cost me to get out?" You could literally do that.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's like I suppose it's similar to like if you go to a company, a HGV company, and they'll be like, "Yeah, we'll train you up. We'll get you on them. We'll want you to do this many hours and days a week for this many years."
Yeah.
And then let's say after about 6 months or so, you've had enough of it, and you're like, "Okay, I want to buy out my contract now." I'd be like, "Oh, that's you owe us £1,700, and it's like, "Yeah, here you go." At the age of 15, Lawrence cycled with his school friend Cyril Beeson around Berkshire, Buckinghamshire, and Oxfordshire, visiting almost every village's parish church, studying their monuments and antiquities, and making rubbings of their monumental brasses. Lawrence and Beeson monitored building sites in Oxford and presented the Ashmolean Museum with anything that they found. The Ashmoleans' annual report from 1906 said that the 2 teenage boys, by incessant watchfulness, secured everything of antiquarian value which has been found. That sounds like some high-effort athletic autism. In the summers of 1906 to 1907, Lawrence toured France by bicycle, sometimes with Beeson, collecting photographs, drawings, and measurements of medieval castles. In August 1907, Lawrence wrote home, "The Chagnons and the Lamballe people complimented me on my wonderful French. I've been asked twice since I arrived what part of France I came from." From 1907 to 1910? The Chagnon. What part of France is that from? Don't know. From 1907 to 1910, my French isn't that good. They all pick up on my accent. But then when I talk to the French, they'd be like, "You've got a Belgian accent." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that." It's like, "Oh no, we know you're English, but we can tell you're Belgian French." Because when I'm with the Belgians, they just go, "Ah, you're English." From 1907 to 1910, Lawrence read history at Jesus College in Oxford. In July and August 1908, he cycled 2,200 miles, or 3,500 kilometres, solo through France to the Mediterranean and back.
Interdimensionally, if you're listening, I've put it in the chat. The picture of the car. What car is it? I'm sure it's like a British mark, like a Triumph or something like that. It's one of those cars I used to see loads when I was a kid, and I could have told you any day of the week when I was a kid what car that was, but I just can't remember.
My sister used to be really good at identifying car brands and like cars not even I knew about, and birds. She had the Ladybird Book of Birds, and I remember looking at things like chaffinch, and I think I've seen a chaffinch once or two in the world because that was her favourite bird. The chiff-chaff, I think it's also known as, because it makes the sound chiff-chaff.
Do you remember that when you used to know all the bird song by listening to it? I used to know stuff like that. It's like the stuff you forget is like weird, isn't it?
Well, blackbirds are nice. Robins have got a little tweet. Jackdaws sound awful, as do crows. Wood pigeons have got a nice coo to them. It's kind of strange. I've grown more and more to like pigeons. They're quite a nice creature. They don't really go in for nesting, but that's because they've been domesticated for so long that they've lost their natural ability to make a nest. We used to do it for them. Nesting for them is they'll take anything shiny and drape it around them to attract a mate. Oh, so anyway, Lawrence, what's
that government website? I bet you said you can check it. Vehicle history. Get vehicle information from DVLA.
Yeah, DVLA, that's the one. Yeah, put in the reg and see if anything comes up.
Yeah, I'll have to that.
Being that it's D-reg, it might be before their databases, but it tends to work on some of the...
Well, it's if it's still in circulation, it'd be, wouldn't it?
Well, they might even have a record of when it's destroyed.
Is that 117V, is it, I think? I'm having to guess it because it's in shadow, isn't it?
No,
all it says is Triumph Red. I told you it was Triumph, didn't I? Hold on, yes, and then continue.
DBW 117V.
Oh no, it's taxed and not MOT'd. Oh dear.
So that means if it's taxed but not MOT'd, then that means it's on the road somewhere.
The tax is due 1st of October 2011. I'd say that it's probably scrapped. Should it tell you it's scrapped or not?
No, because you can put in my car's reg and it won't be. It will still say it's not MOT, not V. Yeah. So I'll just put.
So it is. I am right. It is a Triumph, but I can't figure out which model it is. Date of first registration March 1980. So a V reg is a 1980. That's an old V then, isn't it?
Yeah, my car was a W reg, which was 2000. So
the last V5 was issued 6th of December, 2013.
There's a chance that car exists somewhere. It might not.
Might be in a barn somewhere. Who knows? Famous car.
So
Craig Wilson says Chiff Chaff for a separate breed.
Oh, but my mistake. I'm not a keen ornithologist, so I remember she told me about various birds. Yeah. I used to look over them, but I did get her another book of ornithology, but she wasn't interested in it by then. Sort of here today, gone tomorrow sort of thing.
That was literally like just a 5-minute thing.
Wow, more like a 5-month thing.
It's full list of Triumph Motor Company models. Here we go.
It's a shame though, because I actually liked that book, and it was sort of, it had this little.
It's the Triumph. I think it's the Triumph Toledo Hobbit. I found it at last.
You know when you get books, and I want to say they got like thumb indexes. Do you know what I mean? Where there's like indents cut out from the pages.
Oh yeah, I know.
And this had tabbed indexes, not thumb indexes, showing the various silhouettes of the birds. Yeah. So rather than having a name of the bird, it would have the silhouette of a bird. And
it's silhouette. You don't pronounce the H.
Silhouette.
It's silhouette. It's not French, mate.
It's literally a French word.
Not in these here parts, it ain't. I think it's a Triumph Toledo Hobbit.
So silhouette. So I've got to. Oh no, I don't want it in Hebrew. Silhouette, or as in English, it's silhouette, or in French, silhouette. Right, silhouette. Oh no, there's no H at the beginning. It's silhouette.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's my problem. I always thought it is SCHIL. It's not. It's SILHOUETTE. By the way, it's about exactly the same in French and English. So it's silhouette, and you'd have the silhouette of the bird, and then you just go, oh yeah, I recognise that tail thing. And you look at it, and it's got, oh, that's a swallow. All right, fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, it might be a Triumph 1300 actually. I bet. Because the Toledo has a different light cluster.
Does the Triumph Car Company have anything to do with Triumph motorcycles?
I think so.
Surely there's some sort of trademark infringement. You can't go around calling yourself Triumph if you.
There you go, Hobbit. Look at that. I think that's that's a Triumph 1300.
Is this in the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the car.
Yeah,
that's the one.
The light clusters, because the light clusters are slightly different on the Toledo. We've got some real car autism hours going on here.
Well, whoever lived at 2 Polstead Road had some absolute Kino cars. That
was the 1300, that car was as well, wasn't it? So
Triumph 1300 and the Morris, is it a Morris 1100? I think they were called. Is that just because it was
a minor, isn't it? I think.
Engine? Morris Minor? Yeah, a Morris Minor. Yeah. So, T. Lawrence, what did he do? Oh yeah, what part
he bought the Triumph. He bought a Triumph 1300, didn't he?
You know, my granddad used to say that. He said when he was doing his national service, which I never knew he could ski, and this always annoyed me because I thought, well, granddad, you could have taken me out skiing. So he was putting these Amy's Type 1 radars up, and they were putting them on top of mountain ranges so they could get the best line of sight. And because mountain ranges, being that they're mountains, are quite inaccessible, they take the Land Rover or Jeep as far as up as they could, and then go, right, that's it. The rest of it's got to be done on foot. So they take the radar and the sled with them, and then they'd ski up the mountains.
Hold on a minute. I've found another bloody what's it? I found another what's his name? Nelson Mandela effect.
What's that?
Wikipedia says an ottoman is like a footstool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's.
I thought it was like a blanket box in the bedroom.
Well, maybe it is, but when I was think of ottomans, they're like it's a poof. What you put your feet on.
A poof, or. Yeah. Or in Shropshire, England, the old dialect word is a tumpty.
A tumpty? That's silly. What's that you got?
It's there? A footstool. It's a footstool, a hassock, a poof, or a tumpty.
This sounds like the bit where Crichton's learning to say, it's a smee, it's a smee, it's a small off-duty Czechoslovakian banana. No, traffic warden.
Yeah. Apparently in Newfoundland, they call him the Humpties.
Humpty, smee, it's a...
footstool, hassock, or poof, Hobbit, or a tumpty.
Yeah, sure. It's got all these names. It's got all the... Is this like with barm cake, where it's like, it's a bun, it's a bap, it's a roll, it's a cob.
It's wherever you are. Like, I think 90% of England call it a poof. I think at Oop North, they'd probably call it a hassock, but I don't know where footstool would come from.
Well, this was a thing, right? I was just talking with like some French, and I was like about what do you call a pastry, and I said, well, it's a cook, and then it's like, you're from Belgium, and it's like, what do you call it then? And it's like, it depends on what type of pastry it is.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing, right? So the cook, which is known more commonly as the pain au chocolat, right? Everywhere in France and Quebec.
But it's not bread. But the pain au chocolat isn't bread. Pan means bread, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a viennoiserie. It's halfway between pastry and bread, and that's why it's called a thing of Vienna, a viennoiserie. Okay. So the pain au chocolat as it's called.
Is that like us still calling stuff French? Like when something's odd, it's called French, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But in this case, the French literally copied it from the Austrians.
Speaking of the French, the earliest known instance of the use of the name is Ottoman in French in 1729. First known recorded use in English occurs in one of Thomas Jefferson's memorandum books from 1789, paid for an Ottoman of Valois-Utrecht.
So, 99% of the French-speaking world refers to the pain au chocolat, as I've just said.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to call it a cook, so I called it. I always thought that was like the pain au raisin, which is it looked like a Chelsea bun and it had raisins in it, but it didn't have the icing sugar on it. I really liked it, and I want one now. And oh god, I actually have to go to Belgium to get one.
Is that those swell things they do in Lidl? Is that what you're talking about?
Do they do pain au raisin in Lidl? Is this a?
If it's like, is it like a swelled thing with raisins in it?
A swell thing with raisins in it, yeah.
Yeah,
they do them in
they
Lidl.
do those in Lidl, yeah. In the fresh aisle, in the fresh pastry aisle.
I will get myself a pretzel and a pain au raisin next time I'm in Lidl.
Yeah.
But anyway, pain au chocolat. Except the 1% of the world where it's not pronounced like that is Paris, where they call it a chocolatine. And apparently there's big arguments over it. And they're just like, oh, you haven't got a leg to stand on, because in England, this roll, it's got names depending on, like, you walk 5 minutes into another village, it's like, oh, that's not a roll, that's a crusty barm, a barm cake, a bap, a bun.
No, a barm cake's something different. I thought a barm cake. I thought a barm cake was a pasty in a roll, a pasty in a cob.
It's not. A barm cake, literally, right. So barm is another word for leavening, and cake
what's the thing where they have the roll in the pasty in the roll? This Lancashire thing.
Literally, all they're talking about is a bread roll, but they call it a barm cake.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Batch. No, they call it a batch in Coventry. That's a roll. Yeah, it's a batch.
Well, yeah, because you bake the rolls in a batch and then you break them off separately, and then like in Scotland they'll call them a stotty or something, and the other names. But the thing is, it's like, this is respect my pronouns bread edition. The only difference I can think of is like a barm cake. You could argue that it has to be made with the leavening, like the actual barm from a brewer's. It can't just be dried yeast. So you could actually make that argument. Like one of the reasons, like pancakes when I'm in Belgium, is we'll get like a brown beer where the yeast is not dead, and then you can.
It's a Triumph Dolomite Hobbit. We got the clarification from Wesley.
Well, it looked like the 1300 you showed me.
Yeah, Triumph Dolomite 1300. I think Dolomite's the model.
Right. Okay. So the pancakes in Belgium, they'll have like brown beer with live yeast in it, and they'll literally, like, you make a pancake batter like you do here. Well, no, because here, like, you'll do eggs, milk, and flour together. They don't do that. They put the eggs and flour.
God of Pig, King of Dog had a Triumph Toledo. Wouldn't dash it.
But instead of putting milk in it, they'll put beer. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I like those. I never thought when I was eating a Belgian
Bonga Majango says Obama cake is for chocolate people.
Yes, that is true. But at no point when I was eating a Belgian pancake did I think to myself, oh, it could really do some milk in this. No, they're fine.
God of Pig, King of Dog says an ottoman is a rectangle box with a cushioned lid. Yep, a blanket box. Well, actually, this is what I wanted to get onto, Hobbit. Because over the subsequent generation, the ottoman became a common piece of bedroom furniture. European ottomans standardised on a smaller size than the traditional Turkish ottoman, and in the 19th century took on a circular or octagonal shape. The seat was divided in the centre by arms or by a central padded column that might hold a plant or statue. Blimey, these got fucking complicated, didn't they? Hinged seats also began to appear so that the space inside the ottoman could be used to store items. So I think the Ottoman came to us and we improved it by, hey, look, you can put your paper and your TV remote inside it, and it makes your living room look tidy.
Isn't this like a mission creep where you get a thing and it does one thing, but then you go, wouldn't it be nice if it could also hold your TV remote and your copy of? Did you used to get the TV Times? My family used to get TV Times. We didn't get Radio Times. And then eventually we just had.
You were common. I would have thought your parents would be like full on Radio Times, BBC.
Oh, the weirdest thing is, did you know Radio Times has a website and it's like still active and stuff? Because I think
you can still buy the magazine, can't you?
Well, the reason I mentioned the Radio Times website is I was looking up a walkthrough in RoboCop because the first time I played it, I didn't do the courthouse mission. Yeah. And then I was reading the walkthrough, and it was radiotimes.co.uk/Robocop Rogue City. I was like, okay, I didn't know Radio Times really likes RoboCop, but they do.
Big fans of RoboCop. I wish you could buy the ITV edit of RoboCop, because that was fucking hilarious. Where they swap out all the fucks and buggers for other words, and it is hilarious. You know, he's going, fly me, fly me, fly me.
Ah, yes.
Or do you remember the Harry Enfield sketch where it's Goodfellas edited for TV? Fun you, money, fun stuff.
I probably the only one I remember similar to that is the one in Father Ted, where they got the swearing couple, but they're using words which sound like swears, but they're not. Like, they're saying a lot of fup.
Yeah, fup.
Fup you, fopper. You fupping furp. And fup this and fup that.
You fupping bastard. Dimensional lizards just come up with that one. So have we got another week without doing T.E. Lawrence?
No, we have mentioned about T.E. Lawrence. He likes his cycling, been around France, did some brass rubbings.
Should we talk about? So he had a motorcycle crash. I hear a lost German tourist was involved.
Yes, the fucking bikes getting in the way of T. Lawrence. Fucking bikes.
Yeah, well, actually, that's precisely where the lost German tourist is from, isn't it?
Fucking bikes. I thought we weren't going to mention the fucking bikes in this episode.
We didn't. I think we got away with it.
Well, I mentioned the war once or twice, but I think I got away with it.
Like, he was a bit of an everyman though, wasn't he? Because Travels, Antiquities and Archaeology section. So at age of 15, he just went round Europe on his bike with his mate, did he?
Yeah, well, like I said, he cycled researching French castles. In the summer of 1909, he set out alone on a 3-month walking tour of Crusader castles in Ottoman Syria, during which he travelled 1,000 miles on foot. He must have gone for a few shoots.
He sounds like a more interesting version of Lord Miles, doesn't he?
I was just going to say, Lord Miles is, not quite the same. Well, they're both bastard children, aren't they? Like, Lord Miles was an IVF. Yeah. And his mother, by law, he's not allowed to know who his biological father is. Yeah. So the weird thing of how sperm donation is in the UK.
He does seem quite fatherless, doesn't he?
Well, the other thing about him is they have the similar sort of, I want to say, countenance.
Yeah.
The physog of Lord Miles and T. Lawrence are very similar. But yeah, so in summer of 1909, he set out. Let me finish this paragraph, and then I think we can call it an end to that. And then we'll do a bit more about.
Well, we can skim through the rest of it.
Well, in the summer of 1909, we could do a 3-part. I think T. Lawrence deserves that. He set out alone on a 3-month walking tour of Crusader castles. While at Jesus, he was a keen member of the University Officers Training Corps. He graduated with first-class honours after submitting a thesis titled The Influence of the Crusades on European military architecture to the end of the 12th century. I'd like to read that, actually. Partly based on his field research with Beeson in France and his solo research in France and the Middle East.
Oh, the Fuppin has reminded me of something. There used to be like a comedy book. I can't remember whether it was The Young Ones or something like that. It's words that sound dirty, and one of them's dinty.
That's it. Lawrence was fascinated by the Middle Ages. His brother Arnold wrote in 1937 that medieval researchers were a dream way of escape from the bourgeois England. Right.
Isn't researching castles kind of bourgeois?
I think he's kind of like an English version of Miguel de with Don Quixote.
Don Quixote?
Yeah, Don Quixote.
I like for years when I was a kid, I always thought his name was Don Quixote. You know, it's in the animal.
Me too. So a veteran police officer filmed mystery object over Connecticut. We haven't done UFO stuff this week, but just to say, lots of mysterious lights been spotted over aircraft, military bases.
Yeah, we spoke that last week. I also had a conversation with somebody. Somebody DM'd me after the show, and they had a family member in the military, and they said that this is happening. Yeah.
So it must mean we're in a sort of like a Cold War going hot stage, and the aliens are busy disarming our ICBMs. Except for that one which Russia fired at. Do
they really like sticking things in our anuses that much that they'll stop nuclear war just so they can carry on poking stuff in our bums?
Look, we're their zoo, and they want the zoo to continue.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great thing. I'm just going to read the headline. Animals probably get drunk all the time, scientists claim. It sounds like the shark scientist guy is back to his work again.
Yeah, but it's quite a common thing. Like, I don't think we've done many of them, but like bears quite often go on drunken rampages when they eat too many fallen apples and things like that, don't they?
Deer are the same.
Elk. I'm sure I read one. It was like something big, like something really too big to be messing around with, like an elk or something like that. Went on a drunken rampage.
Speaking of animal science stories, monkeys don't have enough time to write Shakespeare study finds.
No, they're just too busy. Oh, Gerald, I'm just so fun. Do you remember Gerald from that 9 o'clock news?
No.
Were you what? Gerald was the gorilla.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
because Mel Smith was a gorilla.
Were you angry? Were you wild? Wild. I was livid.
Another headline there says, "Have scientists finally solved the chicken or egg paradox? It was Jesus." Millionaire hides treasure caches worth $2 million across the United States. Mystery object thought to be Amelia Earhart's plane has been identified.
I think that's quite an old one. I think I tried to cover that, but I'm just not interested enough.
Oh yeah, because I was saying the new homeowners of France find skeleton of missing man in their attic. It's like it comes with.
Was he the Irish hide and seek champion?
Oh, now here's one, and this was released on the 11th day of the 11th month this year.
Yeah.
Boeing releases unexpected new video about the secretive X-37B spaceplane. I've probably mentioned it once or twice there. If you want X-37B coverage, go to Freeman TV. If you type in Freeman Fly or Freeman TV, you'll probably get his website. He's a good paranormal researcher. And he does a whole section of his website is devoted to space war news. Mystery surrounds.
Well, do you remember the guy from White Rabbit Radio? I haven't listened to that in fucking years. But do you remember the guy from White Rabbit Radio? He used to say that that there is some sort of like there's an absolute truce when it comes to space with all of the nations on the Earth, and I mean all of the 8 nations on the Earth.
Well, certainly in the case of what do you call it? Oh, come on, brain! You almost had it there for a bit. Like, what's up with like Antarctica. We've done this before. Like all the nations of the world agree. Oh yeah, Antarctica sacrosanct. None may dare violate.
Didn't the Chinese go, right, fuck this, we're claiming Antarctica or whatever, and then they went down there and joined the fucking pact with everybody else, didn't they?
North Korea, maybe. I mean,
something like that. Yeah.
It's just it's weird. It's weird all over. It's weird all the way down. Mystery surrounds anonymous position change of the UK's oldest satellite, known as Skynet 1A. The satellite was launched in 1969.
Speaking of anonymous, do you ever get their tweets? Do you ever get their tweets? Because, like, my God, are they sponsored by fucking BlackRock now or
what? Who's that?
Anonymous. You know, the organisation Anonymous.
Oh, who want to further anal sex in the world? Or something.
Yeah, they just want the whole of the world to have Google's terms and conditions.
Yeah. You know, they're fighting the system by copy and pasting it.
Yeah.
Mystery is
a bit like led by donkeys. You know, holding real power to account by attacking Nigel Farage and Liz Truss and Boris Johnson constantly.
I'm convinced that deer are actually skinwalkers because this headline says mystery as deer is spotted wearing high-vis jacket in British Columbia.
Oh, that's funny, that one. You've not seen that one?
Woman who heard weird noises had naked man living under a house.
That's gotta be America.
Oh, it's got a video to it and all. It's by TK Randall, and it's
not your favourite journalist, is he?
No. Well, there's this guy called Will Greenlee, and if you know him, you know him. TK Randall wishes he was Will Greenlee. He's not as good as Will Greenlee, is what I'm trying to say, basically. Let's go. You know what? I think that might be suitable for Hate Bus. I'm gonna just send a message to him and go.
I always used to enjoy on Mextus Americanas. Used to do the Boar News, didn't they? That I used to like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're a bit too serious for my liking, so I just
They did go a bit. I don't know. Roscoe always tries to keep it fairly jovial, but I haven't listened to him in years.
Well, there was the other one as well. There was the houseboat thing, and they were talking too much about dad things and children, and just like,
oh yeah,
you know, I'm not interested in that sort of thing.
Hunter Biden's sure is interested in children, though, isn't he?
No, because he's been pardoned of everything. Not that he needed a pardon, but he got pardoned.
He didn't. He did not need a pardon. He needed to face up to what he's fucking done. Is what Hunter Biden needs to do.
No, just pardon everything. Because you know, not that he did anything, but he's got pardoned and. Anything he did.
But we've got a felon in the White House, though.
Yeah. Well, no, he'll just get into the White House, pardon himself. It's like, no, I'm not a felon anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he was convicted. All the fucking weirdos will be saying that, won't they?
Roses are red, mathematicians do sums. I sleep with dirty, filthy bums. Heiress to railroad millions confesses her kicks.
Nice.
In boxcars, hobo jungles, anywhere. And it's not news of the world.
Let's not talk about the recently convicted quote-unquote scientist from the BBC, shall we? Animal expert.
Hey, the Japanese have figured out shepherd's pie.
Have they?
Yeah. There's this article, and one of my French mutuals said this is actually.
Do you think mushroom in shepherd's pie is acceptable?
Well, the idea of it is to make your meat go longer. So if you want to put mushrooms in it, then knock yourself out. I personally wouldn't. I know people put carrots in shepherd's pie, but I tell you what, I've made a shepherd's pie before where it was just meat and onions and
shepherd's pie is lamb, though, isn't it? Shepherd's pie is lamb and
Well, that's why I said meat, onions, mashed potato.
Cottage pie is beef, isn't it?
Look, I will just happily eat meat, onions, and mashed potato, and I call it shepherd's pie. And other people can call it. Oh, here we go. Today, this is the translation from Japanese. Today's recommendation is cottage pie from the ground menu, a British dish made with mashed potatoes instead of pie crust and baked. It's full of ground beef simmered in red wine and ale. I mean, yeah, if you're going to be fancy. Topped with cheese and mashed potato, and then baked. I don't actually like cheese with the shepherd's pie. I know some people do, but I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to it. I think it's one of those things that the fewer ingredients it has, the better.
Ah, you mean you like to let the ingredients speak for themselves?
Yeah. It really is a case of less is more. I mean, look,
well, that's the whole thing about British. That's why we don't need to season no food, because we don't use rotten meat in our dishes.
Well, there's like a professional knight and medieval historian. I can't remember his name, but he talks about various things like what it was like to live as X in medieval time. Yeah. And he talks about how you'd get food, fast food in medieval times. And they're saying there was this thing about using spices to hide meat. And he says, well, look, this is an absolute myth because spices were worth more than their weight in gold. That's why they were stored in lockboxes in kitchens. Yeah. And the idea that you would use your incredibly expensive spice to mask the taste of rotting meat is absurd, because the meat would be less expensive than your spices. Yeah. Spices was something you used for special occasions, only on the finest cuts of meat.
It's all sorted to fuck anyway, though, isn't it?
Well, again, like, yeah, if you're talking about African American cuisine, when they're talking about seasoned day food, what they're referring to is something called Lowry seasoned salt, which is salt, dried onion powder, and dried garlic powder. That's what they refer to as seasoning.
Well, I was actually talking about our food, because it was salting was how we used to preserve meat, wasn't it?
Well, you can do that. You can do air curing. You can ferment it. You can pot it. You can tin it. I mean, like, I think one of the best ways of preserving
you can jug it. Well, what the hell is jugged hair, Hobbit?
Well, it's similar to potted meat. It's just in a jug. Oh, okay. But my favourite method is confit du, and then usually of duck, because it's got a lot of fat. But the idea is that you cook a duck slowly in the cauldron, and then you've got a layer of molten fat on top of it, which solidifies, and that forms an airtight seal. And then the cooked duck beneath it just stays there, and then yeah,
because you get that crust, don't you? The fat crust sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, and it's that's confit, usually confit de canard, which is just cauldron of duck.
Right, so are we done?
Yeah, I'd say we're done.
Didn't he crash a Bruff Superior? Unca Bunca Bajango says.
Yes, he did. He was the test pilot for Bruff Superior, and he crashed with cyclists on the road. And you know, did they kill him? Did they didn't? Well, that's one of the things
you'll have to find out next week. And we've done Ottomans now, so I don't need to mention Ottomans anymore, do I?
And the fact that they're multi-purpose.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of the hexagonal one with the plant stand on it. That's a bit too much, isn't it?
Isn't it like a corner table?
Exactly. It's like, hold on a minute. You've kind of ceased being a footstool, hassock, or poof, or a tumpty.
Yeah, just, Humpty Dumped.
What are you going to start calling your footstool at home now? You're going to call it a footstool, a hassock, a poof, or a tumpty?
I'm going to call it poof.
A poof. A poof.
Oh! Breaking news from the Babylon Bee, owned by Rube Goldbergstein.
Yeah.
The Department of Government Efficiency to force government offices to use single-ply toilet paper.
Oh, no, they did a funny one. They did a funny one earlier, but I can't remember what it was.
Thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
You
know, Farage is on Question Time tonight, isn't he?
I don't like shaking hands.
Alistair Campbell's already moaning about being on the panel with Farage.
I don't like Farage being shaking hands with Keir Starmer.
I don't like the thought of him shaking hands with Alistair Campbell. You don't know what you'd catch off of Alistair Campbell, do you? He's a very evil man, isn't he?
Yeah, these people, they rise to the top in the UK for some reason.
I prefer the term float to the top.
Yeah.
It does describe them a bit better, doesn't it?
It's, yeah.
Right, so we done a bit. Right, stay spooky. Oh, speaking of which, I was watching a little documentary thing on Shudder the other day, and the bloke signs off by saying "Stay spooky." Who the fuck do you think he is?
I don't know who. Sorry,
Wait, Shudder's a streaming channel about horror, and he does these little 2-minute things where he talks about a horror film, and when he signs off, he says "Stay spooky." Who the fuck do you think he is? Nicking my catchphrase.
Our bit.
Yeah, he nicked my catchphrase.
That's 14 words. we got to sue him now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
And we got to sue JML for reneging on us.
Yeah, we can. You'll be hearing from our lawyers, bloke off of Shudder and JML. JML must be absolutely quaking in their boots, knowing our lawyers are going to send them a strongly worded letter.
But they're
our team of lawyers. Yeah. Our team of lawyers. Not just lawyers, team of lawyers. We've got a team of lawyers like Eric July has.
On retainer.
Yeah. So anyway, stay spooky. And this is the first place you ever heard stay spooky. So stay spooky.
Copyright 14 words.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. Just got to finish one more thing and I think we're done.